Get up.
Good morning. Hello, welcome. How is everybody? Hi, welcome Olga, Nan. Welcome, welcome. How is everybody this morning? Long time no see. It's been a whole week. Welcome. I love all of the new names I'm seeing. Hello, hello. Go ahead, type into the chat. How you doing? How is everybody? Hi, Sonia. I'm excited you're here, Kate. Amazing. Alrighty, so I'll give some more people a couple minutes to hop on, and in the meantime, go ahead and type into the chat anything you'd like to be coached around today. Good morning, Arlene. Good morning. It might be afternoon for some people, so good afternoon. If it's nighttime for you, good night. And you're a trooper. So what if you feel you're blocked in some way, you're not sure how? Okay, that's totally fine. So where specifically are you feeling blocked, Kate? For those of you joining, go ahead, type into the chat anything you'd like to be coached around today. Good morning, everybody. Acting motivation. Okay. You haven't written your speech and you're on a summit tomorrow. Go ahead, type into the chat anything you'd like to be coached on. Let's be coached around perceiving. Two or more. Yeah. Okay, great. Let's see if there's anybody else. That's a great question. So there's no requirements to be coached. You just show up to the call with something you'd like to be coached around, and then I pick randomly from the chat. And so sometimes you'll get super lucky, and sometimes maybe it'll be next week or the week after. So just keep showing up with things to be coached around. There's no other requirements than that. Of course. Okay, great. We got a lot of perception. Okay, so others' perceptions of me, and then perceiving of other people. Okay. Avoiding finances. Oh, interesting. All right. Let's go with okay. Let's go with Sarah. I think that's going to support all of this, all of the perceptions of other people. Come on, Sarah. Hey, you.
Good morning. I wasn't sure how you were going to bring me live. I've never done this as a panelist, so.
Oh, I know. Isn't it fun?
How many people are on the call today? About 29?
Yeah, we've got about 30 friends today. All righty. So, I know, is this your first time on the hot seat?
It totally is.
Oh my goodness, that's so exciting.
It's funny because I had it in my calendar today and I was like, yeah, I totally need to go.
I'm glad it all worked out.
And not just because I feel like I need to be coached, but also because I'm just doing some client work right now. So like even watching the coaching is great. like just reinforcement of like, oh, right, that's how we do that, why we do that, all that sort of stuff.
Yay. Yes, it's definitely a great place to learn and refresh all the things. All righty, you ready?
I am.
So what would be the most important thing to talk about today?
So there's been a couple of things that have come up in the last week where people have made commitments and reneged on them. And that's caused me to feel, in one instance, incredibly panicked because it was reneging on a commitment to co-facilitate a retreat with me 6 days before the retreat. And so it threw me into a real spiral of, okay, this is on me. I have to figure this out on my own, but also not understanding why the person who'd committed was reneging on that and feeling zero accountability towards it. And then the other thing was just there was a client who made a commitment, was all in, put down a deposit, and then changed their mind. And again, that felt, I felt that it was like I was very upset with the reneging of that commitment. And it surprised me the degree to which I felt that just, I guess, I don't even know what the emotion was, Isabella. I don't want to call it anger, but it was like this intense disappointment and like more than disappointment, not quite anger, somewhere in between. I can't even pinpoint it.
Yeah. So where in your life have you reneged on a commitment that you made?
So interestingly for me, I don't. I feel very committed to things. Once I've said yes, I feel that I have to fulfill that at all costs. And so when other people don't feel that,
Mhm.
it really upsets me. It's like a lack of accountability. It would take a lot for me to renege.
So what would you like to have at the end of this call today?
I think for me, what I'm hoping to get out of this is that I wish I could be that person that when I feel let down by other people and they don't take accountability and they don't care, I wish that didn't hurt me. I wish that I could just go, okay, on to the next. But what happens is there's an element of when I start to explore what came up for them, why they reneged on their commitment, it becomes, well, this was my perception of what was happening. And then I start to feel that personally. I'm like, but that's not fair. There was no communication. You didn't ask the question. That's a judgment, right? So I start to feel very misunderstood. So what would I like? I mean, if you could wave a magic wand, I'd say I'd like to depersonalize and detach. I don't know that that's realistic. So it's more about, can I have awareness about why this hurts me when people act the way people act? And it to some extent they're saying it's about me, and yet I believe it's very little to do with me.
So it's really just having that ability to pivot without having an emotion tied to it. Where if something happens, you could just be like, cool, let's
Yeah.
go to the next thing.
Yeah.
And to just have the awareness around the entire situation.
And not have to go so deep into, well, was that about me? Did I really mess that up? Well, am I responsible for that misunderstanding? Like, what's going on here? right? Because I do the whole like, well, is it their perception? Is it my perception? Whose perception is it? Is this coming from me? Is this coming from them?
So no spiraling.
Yeah.
That's really, you're like, I just don't want to spiral down into.
Yeah.
Perfect. So what are the negative qualities and characteristics of somebody who reneges on their commitments?
Lack of integrity, lack of personal accountability, flaky, non-committal, I don't really know how to phrase this other than doesn't value other people's time. Those would be the top qualities and characteristics.
So when you think about somebody having a lack of integrity, a lack of personal accountability, they're non-committal, they don't value other people's time, what are your negative thoughts and emotions?
Well, that's a person I definitely don't want to be around or associated with. Definitely don't want to collaborate with.
Negative emotions around that.
It's really weird. I can't pinpoint an emotion. Like I said, it's like this, it's more than annoyance. It's more than, it's like a heavy dissatisfaction and like a strong away from. And yet I don't know. I don't know what word to give it. Can you ask me the question a different way? Because I'm having trouble accessing my emotions.
When somebody has a lack of integrity, a lack of personal accountability, they're non-committal and they don't value other people's time, how does that affect you?
I feel like they don't value me. I feel like they're disrespecting me. I feel devalued, disrespected, hurt, offended. Yeah.
So where else in your life are you feeling not valued, disrespected, hurt, and offended?
Don't that I can think of. I not consciously. I don't.
Okay. If there were to be an area of your life where you could even think that maybe you would feel not valued, disrespected, hurt, and offended, where would that area be? Just take whatever one pops into your brain first.
Okay. Yeah, it's super vulnerable. I right now I'd say that what's coming up for me is wanting to be valued for the work that I do, the skills that I have, the way that I can help people. And at times I feel like that's not valuable to people. So in some ways, someone will ask me what I do, I tell them, and it's like the response is, well, do they not get it, or do they not value it? Because there's just like a no response.
Okay, so that's still business.
Yeah, so it's still
Still
business.
business. So what other area of your life are you feeling not valued, disrespected? hurt?
I think to a large extent, I struggle with my husband not getting me on some level. I just not, yeah, I feel sometimes like there's just like a total lack of understanding about things that I'm passionate about or experience I've had that I'm excited about. And it's kind of like, it just kind of falls on deaf ears.
So because your husband doesn't get you or really understand your passions, how's that a problem?
Well, I constantly have to be my own cheerleader and rah-rah for myself because there's nobody else to do it. I think that it's a problem because, well, it does make me feel misunderstood. It makes me feel like when I'm talking about something that the words coming out of my mouth, they're English, but they don't make sense to him. The connections aren't happening for him to be like, I'm really excited for you. You sound really excited about that, really passionate about that. Yeah, it's just kind of dull.
So because you have to be your own cheerleader and you're just feeling misunderstood, how's that a problem?
I I don't know. I feel like it has to do with what's coming up for me as positive return of energy. So I give all day long, giving out, giving out, giving out. And then when I want to talk to somebody who I want to be celebrated with and by, and it just is flat because there's no other form of feedback. It just feels like,
Because you're not able to receive, how's that a problem?
feels like I don't have, yeah, I'm not able to receive and I don't know. It's like there's a missing element of joy. There's like, there could be more joy if there was more celebration, but there's only a certain amount of celebration I can give myself. And maybe I'm looking for external validation of success or even just milestones to help bolster how I feel. And when I don't get it, then I feel deflated. I feel deflated.
So because you're not able to receive and you're missing that joy and you're feeling deflated, what do you take that to mean about yourself?
That I'm putting out too much effort and not getting enough in return, not getting enough energy in return.
So what do you take it to mean about yourself that you're not getting back what you're putting out?
The scariest thought is that I'm on the wrong path. And I hate that thought. I hate when that thought creeps up in my head because in my heart, I believe it. But when I feel this way in my head, my critic steps in and tells me something else.
State an observation.
Yeah.
So this thought of being on the wrong path is exactly what you're projecting out onto all of these people, onto your husband, onto the people that are reneging on their commitments, because you would be doing the same thing if you were to not be on this path anymore. If you were to say, this isn't for me, I'm not supposed to be doing this, I'm on the wrong path, how many commitments would you be reneging on? How many things have you promised people or signed up for that you'd never be able to, that you're never going to finish because now you have to switch paths? And if there's just a little voice in your head that's saying you're on the wrong path, you're projecting that on your husband. Your husband is that voice for you. He's the one that's not like, yeah, this is exactly for you, I'm so excited for you. He's kind of like, well. So when I say all that, what comes up for you?
I don't know. It's just like this swirl of like, I can't even. As you were talking, I had so many thoughts, and most of them were, no, that's wrong.
It's okay. You want to justify it. It's not a big deal. That's what you've been doing up until now.
I think when it comes to my husband, yeah, like a source of contention between us is that he would very much like me to take the path that's easy. And I've chosen the path that's hard. And I've chosen a path that's aligned with my heart and my purpose and my passion. And when I don't get the feedback I want, it pisses me off. It's like a reminder of, oh, right, he doesn't believe in me. Oh, right, he doesn't believe this is the right path. Oh, right. And I don't know that that's,
but it's not.
I don't think he would agree with that statement. Those are just my thoughts.
It's you. You're the one that's just having this outside representation to remind you that maybe you're not on the right path, Sarah. And it's stronger than ever now, because now you're having all of these people back out of things they said they were going to do.
Yeah, after I've doubled down on my commitment.
Right.
So
you're
right?
You're trying to consciously bypass the fact that all of these things are happening over here. And you're like, no, if I just do what I need to do, I could just get there. This is for me. And you're doubling down and you're ignoring this.
But I don't know, like, what does it serve me if I pay attention to this? Do you know what I'm saying?
Pay attention to it to clean it up.
Okay.
You need to pay attention to it. You need to acknowledge its existence. And then you say, great, thanks, I'm good. The more you ignore your projections, the closer they get. And then the more intense they are, and then the more they suck.
Right. So I've had 2 of those projections in a week.
Yeah. They're speeding up, which means they're getting close.
But what exactly, I guess the piece that I'm confused about is, what is it trying to tell me? I'm sorry.
I'm working on it. Oh, we haven't gotten there yet.
Oh, okay. Okay. I'm jumping ahead of the process.
Yeah,
okay.
We haven't gotten to your root
like,
cause yet.
Consciously, I'm with you, but unconsciously, my unconscious mind is just like having
I just wanted you to
over
see,
here.
I wanted you to see the pattern of what you were projecting. We haven't gotten down to the things you're actually projecting.
Interesting, because I had not thought I was projecting anything. I thought I was reading other people's projections.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where it gets really tricky, is like, because we're taught about perception as projection, everybody's projecting. But where do you tell where yours stops and somebody else's begins? I don't know.
Really,
that might not be a conversation for today, but that's been what's going through my head.
Yeah.
Right? Is okay. So that person's projecting something. They have a perception of me.
If you're trying to assume what their projection is, that's your projection.
That's your projection.
Okay. If you're trying to say, oh, they're probably projecting X, Y, and Z. No, they're not. You are. You only perceive your projections.
Right. No, I'm talking about when somebody tells you what they're perceiving.
And you projected them saying that to you.
I don't, yeah. In the context, it doesn't quite make sense. Like, I just.
It's all good.
Okay.
Let's get down to your root cause, because
Okay.
there's some part of you that just doesn't, it's just like, no, it's not a problem.
Yeah, I can see that.
So if you were to be on the wrong path, what are you afraid of?
Ultimately, my biggest fear is I have to go back to a career that I left behind that I don't want to go back to. That's my biggest fear.
So if you have to go back, what are you afraid of?
Um, Negativity. Just sort of like general, just sort of toxic work environment. Negative health ramifications, having to be somebody I don't want to be. Lack of authenticity. Not being values aligned. And I think it's around not being able to have the positive impact that I want to have with helping people in their lives.
So if you have to put yourself back in this negativity, this toxic environment where your health is being affected, your brain is being affected, you have to be somebody that you aren't, and you're not valued, and you're not able to have any sort of impact, let alone positive impact. What do you take that to mean about yourself if you have to go through that again?
That I don't love myself.
So anything about not loving yourself, what do you feel?
The first time in my life that I'm putting myself first. And it's an act of self-love. And I know that not everybody sees it that way, but that's what I believe it to be. And I feel really misunderstood and judged. That, and I think getting to what you were talking about earlier, it's getting to the heart of it, is that I don't think my husband gets it. I don't think that he understands that it's an act of self-preservation and self-love. And doing what I feel is right for me has been the source of so much conflict.
So because when you choose to do things for you and that creates conflict, what do you take that to mean about yourself?
I'm selfish. That I'm not putting other people's needs and wants first. And that's what I've done my whole life, is put other people's needs and wants first. And yet the messages that I've heard time and time again is, well, you're an only child, you're selfish, you're spoiled. Those are the messages that I've been told my whole life. And so I guess maybe in some way that comes up for me, because I don't want to be seen as selfish and spoiled, because I'm actually doing something that has purpose and meaning. and is positive for the world, it's not just about self. But it's not a path that other people, not very many people, would willingly choose because it's a hard path. It's a challenging path.
So can I reflect something back to you? Your entire motivation behind being an entrepreneur and having your own business isn't away from. It's so that people don't view you as spoiled and selfish because you're giving back, you're doing things for other people.
No, that doesn't resonate for me. I feel like,
But that's what you just said.
no, I feel like
Those
I'm
were the words
worried.
that came out of your mouth was, I'm doing this so I don't get seen as spoiled and selfish because that's not what I'm doing. I'm helping other people. Those were your words.
That doesn't feel right.
Well, it's an away from. It's not supposed to feel right.
I feel it. I don't feel like I said that.
It's okay. It's unconscious. It's okay.
um,
It's unconscious. It's all good. Consciously, right? What you're aware of is you're doing it for yourself because it's self-love. Unconsciously, it's so that you're not viewed as selfish and spoiled because you've been trying to outrun that label your entire life.
no, because it would be seen as selfish and spoiled.
Why? If
Doing
your entire business is about helping other people and giving back, how is that selfish or spoiled? You're putting yourself through such a hard path.
Well, I think the way I see it is that being an entrepreneur and taking the path that's more challenging is selfish and spoiled. And if I wasn't selfish and spoiled, I would be doing something that would just bring me a biweekly paycheck because that would meet everybody else's needs. It would create security and stability, which is really important to all the people in my life. I don't feel like I'm helping other people because that's a need I have. I feel like the need, if I do have an away from, the need is I have to be away from that environment. I never want to be in that environment again. That's a strong away from for me.
That's what you're conscious of. What you're not aware of, what you're unconscious, is not wanting to be selfish and spoiled. You just said that you've been trying to outrun that label your entire life because as an only child, that's what you're seen as.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to understand it right now. You unconsciously blurted it out. It's all good.
I know. I guess what I'm wrestling with is that it doesn't feel like a motivation for me. It just doesn't align with my motivations. Even though I said
with your
it, just,
with
yeah.
your conscious motivations, of course not. Your conscious motivation is one thing. Your unconscious motivation is something you're not aware of. You don't know what your unconscious motivation is until it blurts out.
Okay.
So yes, it absolutely makes sense that your conscious motivation for why you do your business is for self-love, for you. Unconsciously, you're showing the world, you're proving to yourself that you're not selfish and spoiled because you're giving back. You're creating a positive impact in other people's lives. You're giving people something they didn't have.
Okay.
So when was the first time that you believed you had no self-love and that you were selfish and spoiled?
Um, well, childhood, I can't really pinpoint it. I mean, somewhere between 4 and 8 is when I started getting messages that only children are spoiled.
When was the first time you believed it?
like, I don't know. I just remember resisting it. I don't remember believing it. I remember being offended by it. I remember being hurt by that judgment. The number that's popping into my head is 8. I don't know why, just 8. But there's no particular incident that I can remember or recall.
So when you were receiving all of like the messages of only children are selfish and spoiled, what were your negative thoughts and emotions?
You don't understand my life. I'm the opposite of spoiled. I'm the only child of 2 divorced parents, and my life is not spoiled. My life is split between 2 houses. Yeah, it may look like I have double the wardrobe, but I've got half the happiness of everybody else. I remember as a child just feeling like I was an outcast and I didn't belong anywhere. And yet people are telling me things like, you're so selfish, you're so spoiled. And everything was such a discrepancy. I was like, how do they see that? Like, what am I possibly doing to project that I'm spoiled? My life is not privileged. You know, I could give a million reasons why it was not a privileged life, and yet what other people saw was this level of privilege or entitlement, and it really offended me. And it made me feel greatly misunderstood, because people were judging that I was spoiled, and I had no control over the fact that my kids or my parents didn't have any other kids. You know, in so many ways, I think what people don't understand is that there's too much attention on you that's not positive when you're the only child. There's a high level of expectation and perfection. It's all on you. You don't get to share it with your siblings.
Because you had such high level of attention and expectation on you, what did you take that to mean about yourself?
Oh, it was all performance based, right? Like, so I was a total overachiever, perfectionist. If I didn't get 100% on an exam, I'd beat myself up. And I felt that that was expected of me. I felt that, you know, there were expectations that I would deliver.
Did you hear yourself say that you didn't belong?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's something that was a huge moment of breakthrough when you did my release at Activate. That was my big takeaway, was that at the age of 4, I made a decision that I didn't belong, that I was different than everybody else, and that I didn't belong because my parents were divorced and I didn't have siblings.
So what age range did you give me for the
For that, it was 4.
Yeah. But what age range? When I asked the first time before, you gave me an age range
4.
between 4 and 8.
Yeah, 4 and 8. Yeah. So do you think the lack of belonging and feeling judged for being spoiled or selfish, do you think those are connected thoughts? Okay.
Yeah, the selfish and spoiled is just your greater problem.
Okay.
It's the not belonging and the no control.
Mm-hmm.
Because it makes sense that if you feel like you don't belong or have any control,
Mm-hmm.
that you would doubt that you're on the right path for you. and you would doubt the commitments that have been made, and that could cause people to have doubt in you.
Mhm.
So it makes sense that all of these problems have been coming up because of these.
I dealt with it.
It's just a deep, it's just on a deep,
Thanks, unconscious.
it's just on a deeper level. I know. I can't tell you how many times I've released the same word, but it's a different area of life.
Yeah.
So it's a different root cause, and it's just a deeper level, a deeper layer.
Yeah.
So when you were 4 and you believed that you didn't belong and you had no control, what did you need that you didn't get?
God, that's a good question. I mean, I think I needed someone to come over and put their arm around me and tell me that I did belong, and that while it might have felt like I was different then, um, there was still a place for me. And that I wasn't being rejected because of something that was beyond my control. Oh, wow.
So what else did you need? You needed acknowledgement. What else?
I needed an adult. I needed a parent to have that conversation with me. I think I needed someone to acknowledge my pain. And they didn't. They never did.
What else did you need that you didn't get?
Companionship, attention, celebration, recognition.
Can I offer one up? You don't need to take it if it doesn't resonate.
Say that again.
I said, can I offer one up? You don't have to
Yeah,
take it. You don't have to take it if it doesn't resonate, but acceptance, love, safety.
for sure, acceptance and safety. And the love is a weird one because it's like I didn't feel unloved.
I was thinking of from like the other kids, the ones that you wanted that connection with, who were not
Yeah,
very nice. You wanted
yeah,
that
yeah. I did. I
that love.
wanted that. I wanted that friend love.
Yeah,
Absolutely. I wanted that acceptance and that love, and I didn't get that. You're right. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. And actually, it's funny, you just said something that I hadn't even thought about, that's true, is that I was thinking more about inside my like extended family not feeling accepted because I was the only one with divorced parents. But actually in school too, I felt like I was the only one with divorced parents. It wasn't true, obviously. There were, lots of people who were divorced at that time. I didn't see it. I didn't notice it. So I felt like I was the anomaly.
Yeah. Which feeds into that not belonging.
Yeah.
Right. Because if you were the only one,
Yeah.
then you didn't belong. Everybody else was fine, but you were the one that didn't belong. Yeah. So because you didn't have the acknowledgement you needed, that parent to just talk with you and understand your thoughts and your feelings, that companionship and attention and celebration and recognition and acceptance and safety and love because you didn't get what you needed? What are the qualities and characteristics of yourself that you suppressed?
Ooh, that's a tough one. What did I suppress? I think I came, I don't know if this is true, so I'm just gonna unfiltered. The word that came up was sullen. I don't know if that's true. I hid in my room a lot, watched a lot of TV. I spent a lot of time alone, which reinforced the belief that people didn't want to be my friends because I was different. I think I suppressed that social side of me that felt accepted and loved. And now it comes out and I love that side of me. And yet when I leave a social engagement, I often then go into my mind and I'm like, well, how was I perceived? Was I judged? I start spiraling down. Oh, I shouldn't have said that. I wonder if I hurt that person's feelings by saying this or saying that, right? So the underlying fear is, even though I put myself out there, that I'll be judged and not accepted because I don't belong.
Yeah.
And so I want to be social. I want to be with people. And yet there's that root cause fear.
Yeah. So it sounds like you suppressed some like that carefree.
Oh my God, yeah, I couldn't be. I had to constantly filter everything. What can I say? What can I do? How do I belong? How do I fit in? And I think honestly, one of the things that overcompensates for it is now I'm highly inclusive of other people. So I'm constantly the person that's trying to make other people feel comfortable in social settings. Makes me a great facilitator, right? Because I worry about that and I want to include other people. So I've turned it into a skill in a way. But inclusion is really important to me because of that. I think because of how I felt.
So what other qualities and characteristics of yourself did you suppress?
I'm actually a really creative person. Creative, like the performing arts was my jam in my younger years. When I went into the work world, I had to suppress that identity because I needed to belong. I needed to be corporate Sarah. Corporate Sarah is different than fun-loving, carefree, social Sarah. And in fact, I would go so far as to say that I had two very distinct personas. I had my private life persona and I had my work persona. And this was before, I'm going to be dating myself here because this was before 2007 when social media became a thing and you had to be congruent. So I could hide my true identity from work. And at work, I could be one way and very professional and very polished.
But what parts of yourself have you been hiding since even before that? Which ones have you been pushing down so far? That if you had acknowledgement and companionship and attention and celebration and recognition and acceptance and safety and love, you could be social and loved and carefree and creative. And what else could you be?
I think she comes out on vacation. I become
Vacation Sarah.
and she's really fun. She loves life. She has a really great time. She, doesn't worry about all the things. And I think that's the person that I suppress because I put a lot of pressure on myself to be polished and professional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you need in order to have vacation Sarah be like have a daily appearance or just be
you got $1 million? Give me the money and she'll be here every day, all day long.
You're like, vacation Sarah doesn't do crap, but sit there and relax.
She just pours margaritas and she floats in the pool and she plays really great music and has like impromptu dance parties.
So what do you need in order to have that in your everyday life?
Okay, well, it goes back to that first thought. I need to fully believe that I am on the right path and quit questioning that. So that
how
I
do you
can
know
just,
you're on the right path?
sorry,
How do you know you're on the right path?
how will I or how do I?
Sure, both.
Okay, so when my heart is aligned with my actions and it feels congruent, I know I'm on the right path. When my passions and my purpose and all the positive energy I'm putting out is in service of whatever that thing is, I know I'm on the right path. When there's a lack of
No. So no.
yeah,
When your heart is aligned with all of your actions and your
yeah.
service and you feel congruent, what are
Yeah.
the qualities and characteristics of you when you know you're just killing it?
Oh, it just feels like magic. It's like, oh man, this is embodiment of what I'm meant to be and do. This is what I'm here on this planet to do. And it feels like, I don't know, there is just a deep, deep sense of knowing and
Okay, so I want you to close
purpose.
your eyes. I want you to close your eyes really quick. So I want you, so when I say, so when think of you doing your business, when you are doing your business, do you have a picture?
Mhm.
What does it feel like? Like magic.
Feels, I can't even give it words. It's just this total immersive feeling of alignment and knowing, and the giving and the receiving is 100% in flow, and it's just, I don't have words for it. I know what it feels like, and when I'm in it, I just know it, and I know it's aligned with me, and it's not an away from, it's a toward. And I honestly don't know what words to give it, because it's like I can fully embody who I am, and I can bring all my gifts without judgment and with total acceptance, and people energetically feel fucking amazing. And so I just know that it's working, and I don't know how else to describe it. It's just, it is, it's like a little piece of magic, and that's it. It's just magic. It feels that way, and I want more of that. I'm like, I finally know what it's supposed to feel like.
Okay. So you know you're on the right path.
I I do, and yet this gets in the way.
Nope. You know you're on the right path. You just said it. You felt it. It's there.
It
You
is
said it out
there.
loud. You have 30 witnesses.
I know. Yeah.
46. We got more people on the call.
I mean, it took me 25 years to feel this good about having something that I could do for the world.
So you said that all you needed in order to have vacation Sarah, the one who loves life and has a great time and doesn't worry too much and is social and loved and carefree and creative and has all the things you could ever want, in order for her to come out and be every day, you just needed to know you're on the right path.
Hmm.
So now vacation Sarah is now just everyday Sarah. And then if you ever need a reminder, you just close your eyes and imagine what it feels like to do your business.
Hmm.
So when you know that, when you feel that, when it's in your body, that magic, that alignment, that congruency,
Hmm.
Are you able to pivot when needed and not have any emotions tied to it, not have to spiral down to why you need to pivot? Can you just like, cool, we're just pivoting. Cool, we're just gonna go over here now. All right, it's no biggie. We're gonna go over here.
Yeah. Actually, I feel like not having to go through the whole mental process of, oh God, maybe it's me. Right? It's like, okay, cool. They weren't in alignment. No problem.
Yeah.
But I still am.
Yeah. Yeah, you are.
Right?
Yeah.
It actually feels like a less of a weight to carry.
It is.
Yeah.
And when you get to have vacation Sarah become everyday Sarah, and you know that you're on the right path, you feel that magic. What can be different about your husband getting you and celebrating you?
I mean, what comes up for me, and I don't know how much I believe this, but what just came up for me was maybe I can get to a place where it's okay that he doesn't entirely get it. Where he's like, I don't understand. What are you doing? What are you like? I mean,
Okay, so he could just be
sound
curious
really
now.
obtuse. Like he gets it to a certain extent, but he also doesn't get it.
Yeah.
Right.
And you
So
could be okay with that. You could be like, you know what? It's not your genius. It's all good. As long as you're right there with me, it's all that matters.
yeah. And maybe I'm okay with him just being like, hey, high fives, you got a new client. I don't have a clue what you do with them, but awesome. Right.
Uh-huh.
And maybe I just quit seeking that deeper, level of recognition or validation that I've been wanting. I don't know.
Because you don't need it from other people. You
Yeah.
have it.
Yeah.
Because you can just close your eyes and feel.
Yeah, I can. I can close my eyes and feel it. That's the cool thing about anchoring, right?
Mm-hmm. You just close your eyes and just feel how congruent and in alignment and badass you are. So, is there anything else we need to talk about in order for you to feel whole and complete today?
No, I do think that it's a really interesting conversation though, and maybe come back
About the perception.
about where your perception starts and ends. Because
Breakthrough mentorship.
that's like a mind fuck for me. It's like
Yeah. Come to evolve.
Yeah, I am. I'll be there in June. And I'm
Come to
sure
evolve.
you'll mess with my mind a good amount.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We spend quite a bit of time on that. Yes. But you're good.
I am good. I actually do. I think awareness that belonging is still an issue is huge. So yay, we get to work on that in June.
And you also get to know that as long as you accept yourself, love yourself, and are congruent and in alignment with yourself, you don't need to belong anywhere.
Yeah.
You got you.
Yeah. 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 Now I'm gonna have to watch this replay to see how you just did that. Because that's the downside of being on the coaching hot seat.
Now you're like, oh man, how did you get there?
Yeah.
Yes, it's all good. You're gonna listen to yourself say things and then listen to yourself deny that you said things. It's gonna be great. All right.
The mind, right? Is there? Oh yeah, no. Can I see the comments? Because I know people were posting while we were talking. Is there a way?
I was gonna say if anybody has any questions, I know we're like right at the end of our time, so if you can hang out for just a minute, if you have any questions, type them in. I want to answer your questions. Everybody's like super excited for you. They are voting for Vacation Sarah all the time.
I love it.
So where do we access the replays? So this call gets uploaded onto Facebook, usually within the same day, if not the next day. So you can always go back and find them in the Facebook Nexus group. And they'll be there. Yes, you're so welcome. Okay, any questions before you all have to go? there was a lot of, I gotta like scroll back. There was like so much going on over here. I
There
loved it.
really is. I know. I am scared if you close this meeting, I'll lose it all because I wanted to read these comments.
You should be able to save the chat in the top corner.
Oh, cool. I will do that. Awesome.
I'm like reading up. I'm trying to like catch up. I stopped reading the chat at some point.
Thanks, Isabella, for your masterful coaching, as always.
You're welcome. Yes, these are open to everybody. They are at Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Pacific, which is 1 p.m. Eastern. Yes. And then the meditation is Thursday. Thursday is the meditation. Oh, it must be because she's a panelist and not just observing. It's all good. And what's the best way to get deeper coaching one-on-one? Activate. And we also have this really cool program. It's called Paradigm Shift Coaching, and it's a year-long one-on-one coaching with a coach. And so you get every other week 45 minutes, and you get 4 rapid releases, 1 full breakthrough. It's pretty crazy. It is stupid cheap right now because it's a new program. Jessica and Trina and I are like, it needs to be $25,000. That's like a whole year. But if you get it before June, it's only like $7,500. So if you want it for like nothing, it's there. It's a whole year. So yes, one-on-one coaching, or come to Activate. You got the community. You learn the coaching process. You learn the coaching process. You get to experience the coaching process, and then you also get to practice with all your peers. I believe that just understanding the process helps even just at a total deeper level. Yes, it's so Jennifer's like, heck yeah. Yeah, it's brand new. So, all right, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Sarah. You're amazing. Of course, we'll have Jessica reach out to you. And yes, the meditations are available on Facebook as well. So those ones also get uploaded onto Facebook within a day-ish. Okay. All right, everybody. Bye. Thank you so much for being here, holding the space, loving on Sarah. You guys are great.
Thank you, guys.
Yes. Bye. Bye, everybody. We'll see you next week. Adios. Bye.